Subaru is well known for a few things: symmetrical all-wheel drive, the flat boxer engine, and that the company caters to a minority few automakers chase: dogs. Trailseeker is a different kind of Subaru. Sure, it has all-wheel drive and room for man's best friend, but it's an EV, so no boxer.
If you really squint, okay, you don't have to squint at all to see that this is pretty much the same as the Toyota BZ Woodland. They share most body panels, the architecture, the drivetrain, but there is a difference. Pricing. If you go with the Star Cluster Pleiades badge instead of the elliptical T, you can save about $3,000. This is a limited trim with destination. It retails for just under 46 grand. That's about the same price as a Subaru Outback.
And really, it kind of looks like the previous generation that had station wagon feels. Outback's gone full SUV now. Until the 3-row Getaway arrives in late 2026, this is the largest EV Subaru offers. Trailseeker has the same wheelbase and passenger space as the smaller Solterra. The extra half-foot goes to the cargo room. Buy Fido a bigger crate to ride in. Other than the front and rear fascias, this looks just like the Woodland. It's the one time I wouldn't mind the overwrought plastic cladding that Subaru likes to use to give Trailseeker its own identity. Regardless, this is a smart-looking rig that gets compliments. If you like this Daybreak Blue Pearl paint, it's a $395 upcharge. There's a touring trim that's one grade higher. It adds stuff like a panoramic glass roof. And the option of leather, BZ Woodland only offers the synthetic hide. Dual 224 horsepower motors combine to make 375 horsepower. Yes, I'm bad at math, but that figure is correct. Each motor makes 198 pound-feet of torque, but no total figure is offered.
Time to play frunk or no frunk. I've not looked under the hood. Lock in your answer. I'm guessing no. And the verdict is no frunk. Seems like they could have carved out a little space for maybe the mobile charge cord or something.
Oftentimes, engineers package all of the components in the nose to open up the cabin space. That's not really the case here. Operation is very straightforward, perfect for the Subaru and Toyota crowd. There's a small display in front of the driver where it should be. The one-speed transmission selector takes a little time to figure out. Owners will get used to it. Like all cars these days, Trailseeker gets drive modes that make a small difference. Unique is X mode. This is a Subaru after all. There are 2 settings to help slog through sloppy stuff. The regeneration drag is adjustable. I'll get to that in the driving impressions. There are some extra gauges that can be called up. Oh, and the battery. Floor-mounted, naturally, it's a 74.7 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion pack, and the charge port is NACS. Max take rate is 150 kilowatts.
Trailseeker has zip. It'll do the 0 to 60 benchmark in just over 4 seconds. And a lot of people ask, why does a vehicle like this need that kind of power? Well, here in the Pacific Northwest, it's nice to have because we have wet roads, and with the grip of all-wheel drive and a lot of grunt off the line, you can get across uncontrolled intersections with ease. There's no performance tones, no artificial sounds, just the silent whoosh of acceleration.
For an SUV that weighs some 4,500 pounds, this moves. It's the quickest machine in Subaru's fleet. Max towing is 3,500 pounds, but remember that tugging a trailer sucks the life force out of a battery pack. Same with mounting bikes and kayaks on the standard rack. Gear on the roof adds a lot of aerodynamic drag, and EVs don't like that.
Trailseeker is quiet. At speed, it's very serene. And if you like listening to music, EVs can be better than ICE vehicles because they're much more hushed. Also, visibility in the Trailseeker, really pretty good.
The EyeSight suite of active electronic safety tech includes automatic emergency braking and adaptive cruise control with lane keeping that allows hands off the wheel briefly. It's not hands-free like Super Cruise. This isn't Subaru's camera-based system, it's the Toyota setup, which is comparable in everyday use.
This is a very comfortable vehicle with a compliant suspension, which means when you chuck it hard into a corner, there is going to be some body roll. Not an awful lot of feedback coming up through the wheel either. This is not a WRX STI. But you got the heavy battery in the floor, and the steering is pretty accurate, so overall, not bad.
It's tuned to the intended audience. The Squircle wheel helps to see the gauge cluster, the shape takes a while to get used to, and while the display is high enough to eliminate the need for a head-up display, it's kind of plain looking. Graphics show when you're draining electrons from the pack and when recuperation is sending them back to the cells.
Some EVs offer very aggressive one-pedal driving settings, a lot of regeneration drag. I have this in the highest mode. I've taken my foot off the throttle, and it's okay. Oftentimes you will be using the brake pedal, which has great modulation, by the way. And passengers will be fine with this because oftentimes in high regen settings, it's hard for a driver to maintain a constant speed. And that makes people carsick. Tesla Model Y Uber drivers, looking at you.
EVs are generally much less expensive to fuel, especially these days with gas prices so volatile. And while Trailseeker isn't the longest range electric that money can buy, it might be a moot point for those that drive less than 70 miles a day because all you have to do is plug in before going to bed. In many ways, EVs are more convenient than gas-powered cars.
How far will this go on a charge? The EPA rates the Touring and Limited trims at 274 miles of travel. Now, in mixed driving, in temperatures in the mid-40s to mid-50s, I'm seeing 240, 250 before I feel the need to juice up, keeping in mind that I'm okay with running the battery down to 20 miles or so.
Can Trailseeker actually seek trails? With 8.5 inches of ground clearance? Yes, though this alley in my neighborhood will have to do today. I can see why folks that live here own Subarus. They're very popular in the Pacific Northwest.
Laugh if you want, but really, this alley replicates a Forest Service road pretty well. My neighbors pay a lot of taxes. It should be in better condition. And to be honest, you gotta figure that most people buying Trailseeker want it for snowy conditions and muddy roads. Nobody's doing serious rock crawling in a vehicle like this.
On a tougher stretch of trail, the forward camera system would be very helpful. The invisible car view helps a lot when dodging big rocks and tree stumps. For the best electric vehicle experience, juicing at home is critical. Commercial charging is best for long-distance travel. Trailseeker supports plug and charge. Look, Ma, no apps or credit cards. And you've probably figured out by now that this can access the supercharger network. The top 150 kilowatt charge rate is not the fastest, but Trailseeker's charge curve is nice and even.
If you don't road trip much, then maybe the max DC fast charge rate doesn't really matter. You won't be using it. Besides, it's much less expensive to charge at home. It's a lot more convenient.
The average American only travels 40 miles a day, and in that case, standard 120-volt charging is all that's needed as long as the car's plugged in at night. I did this for years. One thing, I couldn't find native route charge planning in the system. You'll have to use an app. Switch between this and the Toyota BZ Woodland, and it's deja vu all over again, though the Subi's gray colorway seems to be unique, and it gets a round steering wheel. The heated seats are covered in hide from synthetic cows. They're quite comfortable with good bolstering. Step up to touring for ventilation and the option of leather. It could be worth it since the $2,600 upgrade delivers the big glass roof and radiant leg warmers up front. If you don't have emails to send while charging, maybe play with the surround view camera. It's pretty trippy. There's also an automatic parking feature, but I find that kind of fussy. The cup holders are deep in the console. Storage is on the average side. There's the Trick Center storage spot that works for both people up front, but nothing here. No glove box. The interface is not the new Subaru system found in the latest Outback. It's from Toyota, and not the newest effort either. There's no real home screen, and like the gauge cluster, it's more about getting information across and less about looking good. HVAC controls are dedicated, a mix of knobs and touchscreen, and more buttons here, so it's not all controlled from the 14-inch screen.
If you decide to pay for the data plan once the trial period ends, natural voice commands are terrific. They allow you to keep your eyes on the road. Hey Subaru, how much range do I have in the pack?
Your trip range is 242 miles.
These work pretty darn well. I was curious if it would respond to the T prompt. Hey Toyota. Hey Toyota. Nope.
When the USB cord goes missing, and they always do, there'll be no fighting over the charge pad. Chevy Blazer does not get Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and no cords needed here.
On a vehicle like this, the back seat is important. I see Trailseeker being pressed into family duty, or at least dog duty. I'm 5'9", headroom is good, so is knee and leg room. Foot room for my size 11s, that's kind of tight. The cushions are a smidge on the low side. Thigh support is fine. Door openings are average. I do wish the doors opened wider to make it easier to get car seats in and out. A step area with a traction patch for loading stuff on the roof? Check. Usable door pockets for water bottles? Yes. And cup holders in the armrest, too. Glad to see pockets on both seat backs. A lot of automakers chintz out on that. No separate climate zone, but directional vents help. There are bun warmers for the outboard passengers and no shortage of USB ports. Like many EVs, the floor is as flat as a pancake in Kansas, and that helps with footroom. The bench is wide enough so you can get 3 thinner adults back here, but if you want to use the cup holders or you want maximum comfort, 2. Keep it to 2.
Here's Trailseeker's biggest advantage. Solterra is 6 inches shorter, 7 packs wedge into its 28 cubic foot cargo space. Big Brother here has 34 cubic feet. Hauling 9 bundles of softness and absorbency is a more relaxed affair. Subaru owners are likely to do wilderness exploring. There is a travel charge cord, but no spare tire, only a repair kit. There might be room for a space saver if the dual-level floor is at its highest. Oh, and the security shade has its own storage area under the floor. Nice touches back here include power, bag hooks, and a little nook. It's quite a reach to get to the seat releases, so these are very helpful. 40-20-40 split seats would be good to have. Skiers would appreciate those. But at least this area is useful. Max cargo space is 74 cubic feet. That's pretty big. It's amazing what a little length and design restraint can do for a vehicle. Remember that Trailseeker is 6 inches longer than Solterra, and I would choose this over Solterra for styling alone. I prefer the straightforward treatment here. Little Brother gets random strakes that give it a busy look. And let's face it, there are wagon vibes coming from this, and that's a good thing. Auto riders, we do love our wagons.
Summing up the 2026 Subaru Trailseeker, there's a lot to like here, starting with design inside and out. To my eye, this is the best looking Subi on the showroom floor. The cladding is mercifully conservative. It's powerful, it's punchy, it's quiet, it's comfortable, there's room for the family, and retail pricing is less than the Toyota BZ Woodland. Demerits? Well, if you road trip a lot, then this doesn't have the range of the competition, and when you're DC fast charging on that road trip, it won't juice up as quickly. People who really like aggressive one-pedal driving will find it's lacking in this, and also the sheet metal and the interface, there's a lot of Toyota happening in here. It would have been really nice if Subaru could have given this a little bit more of its own character. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of my videos. Martin and I put a lot of work into these because we wanted to do the reviews that we always wanted to see. Follow me on social media. I'm on all the major platforms. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments. Either I will get back to you or one of my followers will, because this is a good community. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.